Hey everyone, Reese here from the popular YouTube channel Control-Alt-Reese. This is my second channel where I talk about behind the scenes stuff and where I upload stuff that's generally doesn't fit on the main channel. And there's something I really wanted to talk about for a couple of reasons. The main one being that it's incredibly unusual. In fact, this is the first time this has literally ever happened to me. And the second one being because I won't be releasing a video on Control-Alt-Reese this week, just because of work commitments and family stuff over the weekend, and I just haven't had time to finish off the video that I was hoping to get finished this week. So yeah, that's what that's all about. But I couldn't just let this occasion pass, because it's something I really wanted to acknowledge and kind of talk about a bit. So if I go into my YouTube, my YT Studio app, as it's called in Android, or the YouTube Studio app, this is where if you have a YouTube channel you can see your statistics and comments and analytics and all that kind of stuff. So I currently have 27.2 thousand views, so 27,200 views on my solar video that went out 5 days and 5 hours ago. And I'm also currently on 7,806 subscribers, which is nearly 400 more than I had before that video was published. And YouTube has just gone completely crazy with it. So just to put that 27,200 into context, if I go to my most viewed videos of all time, I'm not quite sure why this isn't loading properly, but the December 2020 video that I did with my IBM 5150 has 19,000 views. So it did reasonably well at the time. I think it got up to about 7,000 in kind of the month or so after that. And it's just been a bit of a slow burner, and it's kind of picked those up over the past couple of years. So for a video to do, 8,000 more than that in 5 days is ridiculous. And basically, I wanted to talk a bit about that video, about the solar video. So it was a bit of a gamble for me, really. It's not the kind of content that I usually do on my channel, but my channel has always been about covering stuff that I'm working on and stuff that I'm fiddling with and that kind of thing. And of course it was related to the channel because I am running stuff from that setup and using it to power stuff. I'm using it to record this right now, to charge my camera batteries and to run my LED lights and everything. This is all running on that solar setup, and it will be edited on my laptop, which will be powered by that setup. So it is relevant to the channel, and I was actually considering doing it as a second channel video, but once I got to the point where I'd recorded all of the footage of me installing it all and everything, there was just so much there that I thought, no, I want to put quite a bit of work into this, make a really good video out of it, and I don't really want to put that on the second channel. So I ended up on the main channel, and I have to say I was really worried that it wouldn't do well. Just because it was so off topic for me, and obviously I think a lot of people watch my channel because they want to see the repairs and the upgrades and the mods and stuff on the old computers and the games consoles, and of course that's totally understandable. That's the kind of content that I like to watch as well on other people's channels. But yeah, I thought, I'll put it out there and see how it does. And I was really surprised in the first day that it was received so well by my regulars, my subscribers, and my patrons and people on my Discord server and stuff. And I had a lot of really good feedback and a lot of really good questions from people. And I am going to do a follow-up video where I answer people's questions, because I've just had so many. Obviously I have answered them in the comment section and stuff at the time as well. But I think it's useful information because it's been a big learning process for me as well. Most of that stuff I've actually had to go out and Google and find out. And it's good to kind of learn that and kind of share that in a first-hand way. And that's kind of how I learn about these things, by doing things in a very sort of direct, hands-on manner. It's why I do a lot of the stuff that I do on my channel. So yeah, it was interesting because I didn't think it would do well, and then it did. And then a couple of days later, so that was released in the early hours of Thursday morning, had my usual peak that I do in my analytics. 1,000 or so views. So typically for me, in the first sort of 2 or 3 days after a video is released, I get the majority of the traffic in the first sort of 24 to 48 hours. A good release for me is kind of 2,000-ish. They can go as high as 3. I think I've had a couple that have gone to 4,000 in the first 48 hours or first 72 hours. A slightly less popular release for me, like the magazine one, which was obviously kind of only really of interest to people who've been following the channel for a while and who are interested in kind of the background and the personal stuff. And that was more of a personal update, which is absolutely what I was expecting. That did about 1,000. So they're the kind of figures that I'm usually talking about and usually dealing with. So yeah, the first 24, 48 hours or so were fairly typical, about 2,000-ish. And then we went into the weekend and the Saturday and the Sunday, and things started to sort of slowly grow on the Saturday. And I was like, oh, okay, there's some interest in this video. And what actually happened, just to put everything into context, I mean, for the benefit of people who don't understand how energy pricing works in the UK, I know I have a lot of viewers who aren't based in the UK. We have this price cap system. So we have a government agency, Ofgem I think it is, who regulate energy generation in the UK. And what part of that is the prices that energy companies can charge consumers. And they review the energy price cap a couple of times a year. And obviously, because of politics that I don't want to go into, that price cap went up a lot. It went up, I think it was 80% higher than the previous price cap. And people were expecting it to go up. It's been in the news quite a lot just lately. A lot of us, thankfully, managed to get fixed tariffs, and I think ours is fixed until the end of 2023, so I'm kind of shielded from that a bit. But then obviously we're going to have another huge jump if things don't improve by the end of next year. But that's a long way off, so I won't start worrying about that just yet. But yeah, of course, there was a lot of coverage in the news about solar power and about how people could save their energy bills. And I know solar installers who do like full house installations and setups and stuff. They've got like 6 month waiting lists. I was talking to a guy at a company that I work with earlier today, and he was saying that he's just ordered solar panels for his house and they're not being installed until February because that was the earliest availability that the installers had. So yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword really, because obviously there's a lot of people who are quite fearful about how they're going to afford energy and that kind of stuff, and they're kind of looking at these alternatives and these options, and I think that's kind of what's fueled the views on my video, which I must admit is a little bit uncomfortable. It's not an entirely positive thing, but it is what it is. And based on the comments and the feedback that I've had, a lot of people have found that video very useful. A lot of people building similar setups to power their, to charge their electric bikes and all that kind of stuff, and solar sheds and solar man caves and whatever you call them. So I'm really glad that information has been useful to people. And it's also been picked up by some people in the solar community. I've had people commenting saying, oh, great start, you should invest in this next, and you should move to a 24-volt system and an MPPT charge controller and all this kind of stuff, which is kind of stuff that I've been researching anyway. But it's really nice to know that the people in that community aren't sort of gatekeepery about it, or at least not the ones I've come across, and they're like, oh, there's a new guy here, we'll give him some pointers on where he can take this thing next. So that's been really cool. And by and large, it's been, well, I say by and large, I mean, I don't think I've had any real negativity, to be honest. I mean, I've had so many comments on that. I don't even know how many I've got. Well over 100 comments on that video now, 140. And yeah, it's just people giving advice and people thanking me for the video and asking questions and that kind of stuff. So yeah, hopefully it's been a very positive thing all round, and it's exactly the kind of thing that, obviously the subject matter is unusual for me, but it's exactly the kind of thing that I wanted from the channel, to learn about stuff myself and to share that, and hopefully that knowledge would be useful for other people. So really cool. As far as the channel itself is concerned, I certainly don't have any plans to change anything. There's a lot of people out there, with aspirations of making it big and being famous and being big time YouTubers and all that kind of stuff, and they would see something like this and they would just jump on it and they'd be like, right, solar, that's what I'm doing now, that's what people want. And I will do a follow-up video, like I mentioned. I will answer people's questions. But as far as the channel's concerned, I think this is just a one-off, related to everything that's going on in the world. It's really nice to have, and it's brought a lot of new people to the channel, like I mentioned. But yeah, I'm going to finish putting my IBM 5162 back together. I've got some Atari stuff that I want to work on. There's an Atari console that I've been really wanting to do a video on for a while now, and I'm feeling sort of really kind of enthused again and quite enthusiastic about getting some content, getting some good content out on the channel as soon as I can. Really, now I've got this new audience, I kind of want to show them what it's all about and what I'm all about and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, no video on Control-Alt-Reese this week, unless I manage to get something together, but I think that's unlikely. Almost definitely something next week though, which is good. And yeah, just thought I'd share my thoughts on kind of how crazy this whole situation has been. I appreciate 27,000 views by a lot of people's standards. It isn't anything special, but by my standards, I mean, I think if I just go onto the app now. If you bear with me a second. So I go to video analytics for that particular video, and yeah, views are 11 times higher than usual is what it says. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably not going to focus on that, is it? Well, I might have to hide my face. No, okay, I'll post a screenshot of that. But basically it says views are 11 times higher than usual, more regular viewers are choosing to watch it, and they're watching it for longer, helping to increase reach on YouTube recommendations. As far as reach is concerned, YouTube has served this video up to 339,000 people. So yeah, absolute madness for a channel of my size. I'm not one to chase figures or chase numbers or anything like that, but it's something that needs to be acknowledged and something that needs to be celebrated. And I put a huge amount of work into that video. The whole installation and the whole build ended up taking a lot longer than it needed to, purely because I wanted to get good shots of everything and get the camera in and film all the various different bits, and then obviously take lots of notes and script it all up at the end. And then it was like 2 days solid of editing, including a scene where I passed myself a solar panel on the roof, which a lot of people have sort of noticed and commented on, which I thought was quite clever. That 15 seconds of footage took me 2 hours to put together in the very early hours of last Saturday morning. I woke up very early for some reason, was a little bit hungover, and just sat down at my laptop and just thought, I'm going to do this because this will be fun to put together, but ended up being a lot more fiddly than I expected. But anyway, I think, what are we on now? I can't even see. 12 minutes, okay. So yeah, I think that's pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover in this update. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you to my sponsor for that video, JLC PCB. They've helped to cover the cost of the installation. I appreciate I'm very fortunate in that, not the majority of people who are going to go out and buy these kits and things based on my recommendations are going to have to spend their own money, and that's something that I have to take into account. They haven't covered the full cost of it, nowhere near that, but it certainly does help. And of course, I have my patrons and my channel members as well, who help to fund everything that I do on the channel. I mean, all the money that I get in from advertising and everything else does get reinvested back into my videos in a very direct way. So yeah, just like to thank everyone who has watched that video. Welcome all the new people who've subscribed. Obviously this will be going out on the second channel, not the main channel, but I will be promoting this, so hopefully they'll find it. And thank everyone who supported me in a financial way as well, because it helps me to do these projects and hopefully help to educate people. So yeah, definitely going to be a longer term thing. As I mentioned in the original video, I'll be doing some updates over the course of the year just to see how it progresses. I've already added some bits and kind of improved things. But yeah, that's it. I'm now rambling, true to the very name and the very nature of this channel. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of the week, enjoy your weekend, and look forward to another Control-Alt-Reese video next week.